Because Bert, part of what we do around here is support each other in our
Yes,
time of need.
of course.
So I'm here for you, buddy. I'm here for you as we watch your Yankees yet again. Aaron Judge yet again proves to be a regular season MVP and not what you paid him for.
Yeah.
Uh, Garrett
Stanton in his
Cole.
garbage time home run, if you will. The bats going cold when they need to be, and Garrett Cole proving that we overpaid him and he cannot come in clutch in one of the most important games we needed him for.
He gets
Yeah, it
paid
was.
$300 million for 3 innings. I mean, the symmetry there is it's funny.
Yeah,
It's unbelievable.
yeah, it wasn't. It was a rough night. I'm not gonna lie. I went to bed. The fifth inning, I
Oh
was like,
no.
"Fuck this," and went to bed. I
Oh
was just
no,
super
buddy.
pissed.
I believe it. Listen, we'll let you unload all that. Bert becomes a Mets fan next.
Oh no!
Sports. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Stuff About Sports presented by the Give Us a Shot Network. I am the Facebook felon germ. That is the prettier Corey, Bert. Bert struggling, guys. Send them all your love and condolences. It was a rough 24 hours for Bert here. We didn't have a show yesterday because I wanted him to be fully involved fully locked into an important wild card MLB game. And Bert, it's your time, man. This is all you. This segment was made for you. Give it to him. Give it to the Yankees.
So you said it was a rough 24 hours, dude. It's been a rough 2 weeks because we should have had the wild card locked in 2 weeks ago when we were playing garbage teams like Baltimore. But yet again, the Yankees are going to do Yankee things and completely just be trash. And then they go into arguably what is the toughest part of their season, where they have Boston, Toronto, Tampa Bay, sweep Boston, where they take 2 out of 3 in Toronto and 1 out of 3 in Tampa Bay. Luckily, that one came on Sunday baseball when we needed to win in order to get the wild card game. And then lo and behold, we get the Red Sox in Fenway on Tuesday night. And all day yesterday, man, I'm fucking amped. I am like, let's go. We've seen our bats come alive in Fenway like not too long ago. Let's see what we can do. And then, I'm texting you guys. I'm texting everybody. I was talking mad shit. And then next thing you know, I'm watching the game and, Cole he throws the first couple and I'm like, man, I don't have a really good feeling about this. I just don't. First off, I mean, top of the first, our bats were there. Stanton almost hit one well out of the park. But the Green Monster being what it is, and they were blaming the cold air for the baseball not going long enough. But long story short, he ended up with a single off of a monster hit because he thought it was out. So he started to do his trot. So I was like, all right, cool. They're seeing the ball well. They're hitting well. Let's see what can happen. Get out of that inning with nothing. And then, go bottom of the first and Cole starts dealing. And I'm just like, he looks decent, but he doesn't look wild card ready. Like he didn't. And it proved it too. I mean, he only went 3. He was done. I don't know what it was. He was lining fastballs right down the middle, and that's what they were taking advantage of. So I don't know if he was trying for breaking and they just weren't breaking, or curveballs or what, but man, something was off. Our bullpen didn't do terrible, but when we're not hitting the ball and we're not producing offense, that's where it's going to happen. So, look, wasn't a good night for the Yankees, not a good year. The only silver lining in all of this, and I honestly hope, and as much as I liked Aaron Boone as a player and had faith in him, he's not the guy. He's just not the guy. So we need to get another manager in here. Certainly going to make some roster changes too, guaranteed. We're going to be missing a lot of our outfield and a lot of course, the guys that were traded into. We're just probably not going to even bother signing them. But changes are on their way. The only thing I can hope for now is the Red Sox don't make it past the Rays, and we can go from there.
Do you buy into the notion that you have to root for the team that puts you out, because that way you can feel good about losing, early? I do that with NBA.
And here's for me, it's like I would almost rather see them win to prove that they were the real deal and that's why they beat my team. Is it going to hurt? Yes. The reason I'm rooting against the Red Sox, because it's the Red Sox. I fucking hate the Red Sox. I hate them more than I hate Tampa Bay. So that's why. It's not like, oh, they knocked me out, so I have to root against them. I would almost prefer like a team that I didn't mind losing to go all the way, so I can be like, oh, okay, well, you know what? Hey, they guess what? They not only beat the Yankees, but at least they get bragging rights all the way through, and it's not just like, oh, well, we knocked you out, and it's like, yeah, but then you turned around and got knocked out too. So,
Right.
yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, honestly, AL wise, at this point, I don't really give a shit as long as it's not the Red Sox or the Astros.
Bert, I'll be honest with you, man.
What's that?
The whole coaching staff, probably except the pitching coach, needs probably to go.
Even the pitching coach sometimes, to be honest with you, because a lot of our younger guys developmentally just they're not that. We can't have Garrett Cole as our only ace, and then when he's supposed to be the guy, not show up. And I know it's probably eating him alive too. Like we're all human beings, but unfortunately, as a Yankee fan, when we've seen this time and time again, when we go after and we pay so much money for these players and they don't come up clutch, like that's more frustrating than anything else. It's like we're paying you. We paid you a lot of money. We paid you a lot of money to get pitching to our team, which we so desperately needed. So I mean, those are the moments where we really need you, not not when you're starting against Baltimore, and you threw 6 innings and 10 strikeouts and shit like that. Like, no, we need you. We need you in those types of situations. And if he had gone 3 or 4, but they were scoreless, and Boone just decided to get QC with his with his relievers, or didn't want to use up Cole altogether because obviously we would have needed him coming up, but no, it was because he looked like straight doo-doo.
Shout out to the Red Sox, man. Bert was getting it from all angles. I mean, from our circle of friends, people who watch the show, who don't even know Bert personally, but know he's my partner in crime. I got a call today.
I respect that, though. I mean, might as well, right? Yeah.
He said, "Tell Bert, how about them fucking Red Sox?"
Yeah,
and I said, "Yeah, well. I'll tell him.
I mean, I saw him too, Stevie Waldman. I did, but I mean, if memory serves me correct, you're a Mets fan, so you have very little room to talk. So
it's
I
funny.
mean, if that's where we're going, I mean, your saving grace, Steve, is that you're a Ranger fan. But yeah. Right now, preseason, they're routing the Devils, which is nice. That's my focus now. It's gonna be football and hockey season, and then and then we got basketball coming in, and then we got the Winter Olympics this year too, Jeremy. It's gonna be huge.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite times of year, especially with the Olympics around, because we start getting into these sports that we never pay attention to. We're gonna get super patriotic and super into it, and it's gonna be interesting, especially after the debacle in Tokyo with the Summer Olympics. Now, Bert, we don't have a hockey segment built in. No. But I know you peeped the Kraken, because I seen them. They look good, man. Dude. Our wishes are coming true. They nailed everything, Bert. They nailed the branding. Yeah. They nailed the city. Yep. The logo is fire. The uniforms are fire. Dude, and the one thing that we needed them to do is be good. Yeah. And man, they look all right, man.
They look good for an expansion team, right? And I got to be honest with you, they're away kits, so like they're white sweaters, and I mean, from the sweaters, the socks, the gloves. Oh man, they look. It's getting harder and harder for me not to buy some of their stuff.
I'm getting a T-shirt for sure.
They look really good. I'm actually I went in partnering on season tickets for the Rangers this year with my dad and a couple other buddies, and they're a West Coast team, so they only come out here once. We only go out there and play them once too. So, gotcha. Unfortunately, I didn't get that game when they were coming out to see, to visit the Rangers. But I am looking into seeing. Oh man, how cool it would be if I could make a trip out there. But I think they play early in the season out there, and schedule wise for me, it doesn't line up. But I would love to go to Seattle and see a game, and they're just doing it right. And if you remember, Vegas did the same thing. Their first year as an expansion team, they looked good. Their sweaters are good. I mean, and then their team ended up being good. They went to the Stanley Cup Finals. They lost, but they still got there. Right. So there's nothing more exciting for building a franchise in a city that hasn't had hockey in so long and having them be decent. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they do for sure.
Steve Waldman hit us with the update. Cardinals are on top of the Dodgers right now. 1-0.
All right.
Everybody, we haven't talked about them in a while, but my favorite team left in the playoffs that have been quiet since the beginning of the season, since Beangate happened. The Houston Astros are going to mess around and win another World Series. Just letting you know. Just
They
letting
might.
you know.
I mean, they honestly, they could. They have the power to do it, but we'll see. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, they just played 162, and now the hardest battle comes yet is staying healthy through the month of October, and then hoping that you obviously get the trophy in November. But and I like their chances of at least making it. I mean, it's going to be tough no matter who they face from the NL standpoint because they seem like they're just stacked with their teams. But it's going to be interesting.
Bert, listen, man. If it makes you feel better, the Yankees were the Red Sox and the Red Sox right now. They're going to lose to the Rays anyway, so it doesn't really matter if you.
Yeah. It's I was fully prepared that, like, if they were to advance and go against the Rays, like, it was going to be a tough series and one that they probably wouldn't make it out of because of their pitching and because their bats are so hot and cold that, if they hit a cold streak, they're done for, so.
All right. So shifting gears, rest in peace to the Yankees. You should have traded Aaron Judge last year, like I told you guys to, but you didn't.
Keep him. I want him on the Yankees.
They're gonna have to. They're gonna have to do something with his contract extension. Figure it out because they can't pay him what everybody thinks they should pay him if he can't produce in the postseason. It doesn't make any sense. Bert, we're about to head into week 5.
Yep.
I guess with the new extra game, this is we're technically quarter through the season, quarter-ish through the season.
Yeah.
Teams are starting to take shape. I will tell you, even though this is not going to be my AFC team, they all laughed at your boy when I said those Cincinnati Bengals were going to win the division. Just want you to take one wild guess who's number 1 in the AFC North. Don't worry. I'll tell you. It's those Cincinnati Bengals. Just keep it rolling, baby. The Tiger King, keep it rolling. 3-1 Cincinnati.
They are 3-1. But so are the Ravens and the Browns. What do they have, a better divisional record? Is that why they're on top?
Yep, sure do, because they beat the Steelers.
Yep.
And so
Steelers.
Yeah.
Woof.
Shout out. Yeah, we'll talk about them on another show. But that begs the question. I mean, we watched a lot of football and we've seen a lot of teams and things are starting to shake out.
Yep.
Who is the best team in the AFC and who is the best team in the NFC?
The AFC. So these were 2 very, very easy picks for me. But I decided to look into it a little bit further just to back it up. And the AFC, I don't know how anybody can argue against the Bills being the best team in the AFC. They have to be, right? So second in the NFL in total points for, and only they're not in second by much, which, by the way, spoiler alert, my NFC pick is the team with the most points for in itself, and also the only undefeated team left in the NFL. So, but their points against shows, now granted, Miami, Houston, like the teams that I don't have explosive offense, but to the same point, I mean, we're talking the lowest points against in the NFL by at least 20, with 44 points against in itself. The offense looks explosive. The defense looks really, really good. Have they been truly, truly tested this year? No, but right now they're the best team in the AFC. And I got to be honest with you, even if they are tested by some of the better teams, I still think they're going to not only hold their own, but win, because what they're doing to these other teams is not just blowing them out, but straight fucking embarrassing them. Like, to the point where I know you enjoy it as a Bills fan, but as a football fan overall, you're like, this is what it should be about. I get, and like there was that controversy at the end of the Broncos Ravens game. Why run the ball, because the Broncos wanted to get 43 straight games of rushing.
Vic
and
Fangio.
Like that.
Vic. Sorry, Bird. Vic Fangio. Before I forget this, Vic Fangio, shut up.
Yes.
Let me tell you something.
Yeah.
Guess what you were doing? Not even a possession earlier. You were throwing for touchdowns, for scoring. You're down 16 points, so you can't win the game. So why? How about this? Stop them. That's what you do. All right, you guys are big boys.
That's the biggest thing for me too, and it's just like, dude, compete from whistle to whistle. Who cares? They ran the ball. Guess what? Tackle them. Like, it shouldn't be a given just because they're winning, they're going to take a knee. Now, is there some sort of unwritten rule in football? I'm sure there is, but guess what? Oh, well, if there isn't, that's not a reason to bitch and complain about it. It's a sport where you are trying to literally hit the other person as hard as possible to either get the ball out or tackle them to the ground, and you're going to bitch and complain because someone ran a couple extra yards when time was running out. Like, fuck off. You've got to be that I thought was just some real wuss shit right there. It just was. I wasn't about it. But jumping back, AFC, it's got to be the Bills, 100%. NFC, it's hard to look past the Cardinals right now. It really is. And you want to talk about same thing with the Bills and their explosive offense. The Cards look damn right dirty. And I know And if Ty was here, he'd be sitting there saying, I've been telling you guys for years, don't sleep on Kyler. And it's not that I don't think I was sleeping on Kyler. It's just that I didn't think their offense was going to gel as much as they are right now. And especially with the depth, too, with A.J. Green in there as well and getting him involved, veteran receiver, on top of Hopkins, on top of their run game. And then their defense, pretty nasty, too. So, I mean, they're 4-0. They're the last undefeated team in the NFL right now. So they are the number one in the NFC for me in terms of, if we're looking at this quarter, let's see who would take it all. It would be them.
So obviously it's the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah.
All right. And the argument that I've been getting from a lot of my friends and a lot that I've seen online is their opponents. Now,
yeah,
this is the NFL. I don't care how bad your opponent is. To shut somebody out and to do it twice is hard. You know what I mean? We've seen good teams go and dominate. And that's the other argument. If the Bills are such a good team, isn't that what they're supposed to do? Go out there and blank them. And it's not that they're just beating them by simple scores. They're putting 40 burgers up on people.
Oh, yeah.
Washington has a good defense. They put 40-something points on them. Weird stat. The rest of the AFC East in week 4 scored a combined 41 points. The Bills in week 4 put up 43 points. It's like, that's what the teams are supposed to do. So I don't care about them saying that the competition was weak. Great teams are supposed to do that. And the Bills, nobody's dominating their competition like the Bills are. The Cardinals have wins against the Titans, who don't look that good. The Jaguars, who aren't good. And the Vikings, who, we'll get to them later. I don't know if they're good or not, but it's not like they're, and their most impressive win was the Rams. So if we're going to sit there and talk about competition, it's not like the Cards are taking out world beaters either. So, and they're getting scored on top of it. These teams are scoring 20 plus points on these guys. So the Vikings lost by 1 point. So, you know what I mean? So,
and the Vikings can't catch a break, man.
And so here we go. The Bills, and here's another stat. I'm glad you brought up the points for and point against. Do you know that the Bills are the only team in the top 5 in both categories? That's why they're the best team in the AFC. That's exactly why. The Bills and Chiefs are both averaging 33.5 points per game. The Cardinals are the only team scoring more. But Buffalo has only surrendered on average 11 points per game. And Kansas City has allowed 31.3 points per game. That's next to last, only ahead of the Falcons.
Yeah.
Bold prediction this Sunday night. The Bills are going to ransack the Chiefs in Arrowhead. Ransack them. Josh Allen's going to put 40-plus points on there because the Chiefs can't stop them. Our defense is nasty. This isn't last year in the playoff game. We have, and this is a revenge game. We're going to go in there. We're going to beat them by 2 possessions. Book it. I'm going to take Ty's line. Guarantee Buffalo Bills will ransack the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah.
So as far as my 8th, Ricky, what's up, man? Shout out to the Pain Train Pipe Bomb. Shout out to the Arch Rival Show. Ricky's doing a lot of great things. Shout out to Sound Machine FM. My NFC, you prefaced your NFC pick with saying that it's hard to argue the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah.
Bert, I'm about to argue this. I'm about to argue.
Of course you are.
And I'm going to choose the Dallas Cowboys.
Ooh.
If I looked at how the Cowboys have been playing versus the Cardinals and I put them on a neutral field, the Cowboys have the better team. Their defense is getting after these opponents way better. And the numbers pointed out to the Cardinals. You have to throw out these week 1 games. Dallas offensively matches the firepower for that Arizona has. Cowboys are 3-1. And I'm telling you, there was an awful pass interference call that cost them that game. They could easily be undefeated too. So I'm not going to just look past Dallas. If Dak is playing better than Kyler. Dak is playing like an MVP candidate. I know Kyler is too, but Dak is like if at the height of their powers, Dak throws the ball better. He's a better quarterback. His numbers prove it. And so, thank you, Ricky. Thank you, appreciate it. And listen, I'm the last guy that's going to defend the Dallas Cowboys, but I can't watch what they've done these last couple weeks and not say that they're not the best team in the NFC.
Yeah, I mean, look, fair point. If you're gonna match up quarterbacks, I personally think Kyler's better than Dak.
Gotcha.
But I mean, we'll see. We'll see what happens and how it plays out overall. You made a comment before about Washington having a good defense. They definitely don't. They've surrendered 122 points.
Oh, yeah. They're supposed to have a good defense.
This is half the fun of it throughout the season, is seeing like who's going to continue on and who's going to completely fall from grace. The good thing that the Cowboys have is a shitty division that they're in.
Yeah, 100%.
Straight up. And I mean, going against the likes of the Giants, the Eagles, and the football team, at least twice. I mean, you know that they should run away with it. Now, that being said, all as trash as Washington's defense is, I'm having a lot of fun watching Taylor Heinicke.
Yeah. Say his name. His mama called him Taylor. I'm going to call him Taylor.
Dude, I picked him up fantasy-wise 2 weeks ago, and he is just putting straight points up on the board. Now, it's probably because they're getting sloshed every single game, and he's just throwing away. Yeah. But still,
he's good, man.
He's a good, solid quarterback, and I'd rather see him in red, white, and blue than just red and gold or whatever the color scheme, mustard, whatever that is down there.
Burgundy and gold,
yeah,
maize gold, something like that.
But yeah, he's a lot of fun to watch. If their defense gets their act together, maybe Dallas has something to worry about in that division. But as of right now, I think the Cowboys, I mean, you have something to it. They certainly can take it. What's surprising me is none of us would pick the usual suspects, like, I don't know, the Packers, or the Seahawks are 2-2, but or even the Bucks. But I mean, the Bucks have showed that against shitty teams, they kind of struggle. I don't know if it was just emotional for Tom being back in New England, but that game was way closer than it needed to be.
I credit that more to that team is going to be way more prepared for Tom Brady than any other team.
Ooh,
on top of the weather. Like if anybody was going to give Tom fits and figure out, like, if anybody knows how to stop Tom Brady, it's Bill Belichick. It's just the Bucs are so overpowering, and they still only won by the amount that they won. And I don't think the Patriots are a bad team. They're a team with a rookie quarterback, and it is what it is. But if a team was going to be prepared to face Tom defensively, it was going to be the Patriots. And I would have guessed, I wouldn't have been shocked if they lost that game, only because Bill Belichick knows what he's doing against Tom, just off of history. So we'll see. Like I said, the Bucs, they dropped that game. Was it to the Rams a couple weeks ago, or whoever they lost to that first game, and they didn't look that good then. And then this game, the problem is a lot of teams are playing well, and it's hard to distinguish. And when like I said, the Cowboys look legit unstoppable, and nobody else does to me. And that's just why I picked them. The Packers, I flirted with putting the Packers in my top 5, bottom 3 this week. It's just, the Cowboys just look more impressive than the Packers to me. That's all. I just haven't been that impressed. But that's it. All right, and we're talking about the Packers, and which brought me to the question, because there's been a lot of we're seeing the end of Ben Roethlisberger. He's washed. They should probably bench him pretty soon. And it got me to thinking, Bert, which quarterback needs a Super Bowl or another Super Bowl to validate their career?
I mean, take your pick on any of them that need a Super Bowl, to be honest with you. I think Matt Stafford, certainly, to validate what arguably is a really good career. Everyone, I'm sure Dak would like one. I'm sure Kyler would like one. But those are guys we're talking. I mean, Dak a little bit more seasoned, but Kyler a little bit still earlier in his career overall. Aaron Rodgers could use one to just solidify what already is a Hall of Fame career. Plain and simple. Right. He could. But other than that, everyone else, Matt Ryan, but we know that's not going to happen.
It's never going to happen. Never.
Everyone else, you got a lot of younger quarterbacks out there that just want to have one. Plain and simple. But if we're talking a guy that's been out there and you need it to validate, I think it would have to be Matt Stafford.
In the comment section to our last topic, we have Bills and Cowboys. Somebody agreed with me. Pats and Bucks. That's Frankie's dad. Oh my gosh, Tom Brady lover. Enough. Bills and Cards. So a lot of consensus in terms of that. It's funny. Ricky says great number. Oh, he says of Matt Stafford. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny you say Matt Ryan because that was my pick.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to happen. However, I've always said Matt Ryan has been in the Hall of Very Good.
Yeah.
But if I be objective about it, based on the amount of love that Matt Ryan has gotten through the media and the fans and the credit that he just doesn't deserve, but that he gets, I think he would need a Super Bowl to shut people like me up. Because they've always put Matt Ryan in that top tier for some reason, even though he's actually never earned it.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's put up gaudy numbers and he looks the part, and they've given him every excuse under the sun why he hasn't been successful. A guy like him, and it really came down to, for me, Aaron Rodgers is the easy answer. I don't think his legacy is damaged if he doesn't win another Super Bowl. I think people still would consider him one of the greatest quarterbacks to play. So for me, it came down to a couple guys. It came down to Matt Ryan, Matt Stafford, Kirk Cousins, and it came down to Ben Roethlisberger. I think Ben would need another one because I think he is a better quarterback in his prime than Eli Manning, but I would never put him above Eli Manning unless he wins another Super Bowl. Does that make sense?
Well, he's already got two. And if you look at
But his two weren't that in, like Eli's two, because they came against those Patriots teams.
Yeah, and they were both wild card spots too.
Right. Their playoff runs were more impressive than what Pittsburgh had to deal with.
See, the reason I didn't put Ben in there is because his Hall of Fame numbers are there. They
Gotcha.
are. They are. I would say they're slightly better than Eli because they have less interceptions. Is what it comes down to.
Right.
But yeah. So that's why I didn't even list him. I agree with you on Aaron Rodgers. Like, it would be nice for him to have just as a stamp, but he doesn't need it. He doesn't.
Right.
And same thing with Ben. But definitely Matt Stafford, Matt Ryan. I don't know about Kirk Cousins, man. I don't even know if he's even sniffing Hall of Fame
Listen,
right now.
a lot of people say that. Kirk Cousins, look at the numbers. He's been either flirting or in the top 10 quarterbacks for the last couple years. Like, he's statistically the one or two best quarterback right now. You know, he puts the problem is he falls in these really big games when the light's on him. And so he has there's this stigma about him that he's not a good quarterback. And he's actually one of the best quarterbacks in the league. The reason why also I wanted to put Ben Roethlisberger in this category is because his stock has dropped so hard, specifically this year, that you tend to forget how great he actually was, because it happened to me. I'm like, yo, this dude what is he still doing? And then you kind of forget Ben Roethlisberger was kind of that dude for a long time.
Yeah.
And I think another one would separate him from the Eli's. Like, you know, Phillip Rivers never got that chance. You know what I mean? And if he was still playing, he'd probably be tops on this list.
Oh, he absolutely. If he was still playing, he would absolutely be on this list. Yeah.
So yeah, for me, but yeah, Matt Ryan, just based on the amount of attention he's garnered throughout his career, I think I would have to say that he needs a Super Bowl to be what they say he is. So that's why Matt Ryan. But Matt Stafford also, and he's probably going to get a really good shot here with the Rams because, you know, they're stacked. Speaking of some of these quarterbacks and these players and these teams, Bert, 5 weeks in, there's some surprising numbers. The easiest one would be the Chiefs with a losing record. But which NFL? So I want to kind of discount them. But which NFL's team record doesn't match how good or bad they actually are?
We were just talking about them. I'm sticking, and we said this. They were one of my picks in terms of like, because I think this was 2 weeks ago because I wasn't on the show last week, so I was sick. But when we had the guys from the Divide on there, and we said which winless team shouldn't have that record, and for me, it's Kirk Cousins and the Vikings. It is, and when you look at their games, and basically first 2 games losing by a field goal, right? They win one, and then this past week they go up against a very tough Browns team, and they lose arguably by, not arguably, but they lose by a touchdown. So they're keeping it close, and they still look decent enough. I just think they're hitting struggles, and they're hitting injuries that are just truly affecting them, and I don't think that they should be 1-3 right now. I honestly think that they should be better. And when you look at teams that are either 1-3 or 0-4 or even 2-2, I still think that the Vikings can be competitive with anybody at this point. So I think they're better than what their record reflects.
Me and you were lockstep on this. It's
Yeah.
absolutely the Minnesota Vikings. They are, outside of this past week, they're a fumble and a missed kick away from being 3-0 heading into that game against the Browns. And I think going in with an undefeated streak would change the psyche of that game. And on top of that game, what ruined it for them was defense, right? The Browns, the Vikings had a shit ton of penalties, specifically in the first half, and specifically one possession where they gave the Browns 7 attempts. They basically had 7 tries from the 1-yard line to score after the Vikings continuously stopped them. But because they kept getting penalties on this play, that eventually the Browns were able to score that touchdown. So like you said, a mixture of bad luck and some just misfortune, and now the injuries are compiling. The Vikings, and when I did this research, really from when I looked at it, it was 2 teams. It was the Vikings, and then it was Denver. Denver's a 1-2 team. I don't care what anybody says. They're not that good.
I mean, I was
1 and 3, whatever they are.
I mean, they're 3-1 right now, but a lot of people going in when we were doing our 2 early predictions, I mean, a lot of people were commenting that they may end up being the worst team in the NFL, and a lot of people giving Jacksonville credit, saying Urban Meyer and Trevor Lawrence are going to do something with that franchise. Meanwhile, Urban Meyer is sitting there just grinding on young chicks, and who knows what Trevor Lawrence is doing. Gross, creepy old man. So it's odd to me to see the obviously the Broncos up there with 3-1, and then you have Jacksonville and then Detroit 0-4. Now I don't know who between the two are going to taking like the worst team. I think it's going to end up being Jacksonville, because I just think that is a dumpster fire. It's honestly it's a powdered keg waiting to explode, especially after what happened this past weekend with Urban Meyer. So that whole franchise is literally on the brink. My own personal opinion. Man, you hate to see Detroit do this, because they do show potential, but man, they need to get it together. It's not working.
Yeah, I wanted to put Detroit on this list, but they have a couple of bad losses. But it's some of these games where the funny thing is they're in these games most of the game, and then they shoot themselves in the foot, and then it gets away from them. I think I could only point to one game where they really weren't in it at all. And that was the game against the Packers. And they even played them tough for about a quarter and a half. But, I do think that the Bears, I'm not trying to act like they're just they're not the Vikings, right? They're not a team that could easily be, 3-1 or 4-0, whatever. I'm just saying they're a better team. Like if you look at 0-4, you would think that team is garbage. I don't think the Lions are garbage. I just think they have a rookie head coach and they need to figure it out. I don't think I don't know if I'm going to say they're good, but I don't think they're terrible either. So
I still think what's funny is 0-4. They look better 0-4 now than they did ever under Matt Patricia.
1,000%.
Yeah.
And I mean, I would take them over some of these 1-3 teams, and maybe some of the 2-2 teams. I would give them a really good chance to win some of these games. Like I said, they just have some bad losses, some bad decisions that have cost them games. All right, Bert, switch over to the NBA real quick, because I feel like we have to talk about it, because it's just been taking the sports world. It's at the top of every hour. This COVID thing is not going away, and it's the NBA season is about to start in about 2 weeks. The guy leading the forefront here is Kyrie Irving, of course. Cancer Kyrie strikes again. Refuses to get vaccinated. And because New York has really strict vaccination rules, he's not going to be eligible to practice with the team, because guess what? They're in New York, and he can't play home games either. And he's not the only player. There's players around the nation. Andrew Wiggins actually just got vaccinated, but he came out today and said basically the NBA forced him to get vaccinated, and he doesn't agree with it. But he did it for his team and did it for his job.
That's a better take, doing it for your team and doing it for your job, as opposed to being forced to do it. Because guess what? You weren't forced to do it. You know what you could have done? Could have kicked rocks.
Yep. You could have left your contract, leave your job.
Yep.
So the NBA also came out and said, hey, we're not paying unvaxxed players for missed games. If you're not able to play in the game, you're not injured, you're not, sick or anything like that, we're not paying you. If you're not going to do this vaccine thing, it's all well and good. You can do that, but you're not going to get paid either. So How do you feel about players like Kyrie Irving and other lesser players around the league, and just this whole thing where this NBA is pushing this vaccination agenda?
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm vaccinated. I am. I have no problem
I am
telling
too.
people that I did it because I wanted to start doing normal things, and also I didn't want to get overly sick. Now I'm aware that I can still get COVID, and I'm aware that I can still get sick and show symptoms, and even like be down for a couple of days. I thought I had it last week. I didn't. Um, but I am against employers mandating individuals get vaccines. But with I just don't think it's right. It's your body, your choice. If you don't want to get it, you don't want to get it. That's fine. And a lot of people don't agree with that. But I honestly don't care. Like you do with you want to go get tattoos, go get tattoos. You want to get a flu vaccine, you want to get a COVID vaccine, or if you don't. I don't care. But so I think it's wrong that any employer would try to mandate it. Unfortunately, with the restrictions in New York, obviously you need it, otherwise you can't participate. But also, I'm also a realist as well, where a lot of the employers, whether it's professional sports or not, that are mandating it, guess what? They're private employers. You know what that means? They can do whatever the fuck they want. They're not
There it is.
regulated. They can sit there and say, hey, you know what? You have to wear a top hat in and out of the game. If not, you're fired. Like they can literally
Yeah.
make these, and granted, NBA has a players union, but it is what it is. They didn't negotiate this strong enough, or even an NBA is coming down. They're saying, hey, you have to, otherwise you're SOL. It is what it is. So if you want to play, you have to get it. Does it suck? Yes. But it doesn't suck? Making millions of dollars to play a sport that you love. So suck it up.
Yeah, for sure.
I get it. And as I said before, your body, your choice. If you just don't want it, you just don't want it. That's fine. But your alternative is either get it or don't get paid. And that's it. That's really all there is to it. And they're entitled to their opinion. They can complain all they want. That's what they can do. They can get on a platform and complain. But that's where it ends. If you're not going to get it, it is what it is. You're just going to sit around and not be paid.
So I agree with your argument of my body, my choice, except you have to understand that you have to accept the choice.
Yes.
But there's people out there that are saying my body, my choice, so I should still be able to play and do my job.
That's not the way it works.
And that's not the way it works. When it comes to vaccinations, my body and my choice is not a good argument, because you not being vaccinated at your job can put other people, whatever you do, puts people at risk.
Yeah.
So technically it's not my body, my choice, because if you decide, and what people who use that argument are actively saying is that one is greater than two, right? Mm-hmm. If Jamal is not vaccinated and Bert is vaccinated and we're in the same workspace, right? Yes, your chances of catching it are lower. Mm-hmm. You can still catch it. And a lot of these idiot doofs out there think just because you're vaccinated, oh, if you're vaccinated, you must be fine. No, you can still get it. It's just you have a faster recovery time, and yes, your chances are slimmer. But guess what? Our chances can be even more slimmer if I also am vaccinated. Mm-hmm. And it's not a cure. It's to make sure the future is protected. That's simply how they work. You get it in your system, and we're able to live a life where when this comes back next year, whatever COVID season is going to happen, we're all protected for the next time. So guys like Cole Beasley, these idiots that sit there and put all types of shit. And that's the other argument, Bert. And I've said this before. I was doing blow off of Korean hookers' stomachs. I'm not scared of a vaccine. So if you're like, if you're scared, just say you're scared. Don't sit there and act like, oh, I don't know what the government's putting in my body. Mm. When you eat processed bullshit all the time, you touch money, you do you do a bunch of stuff throughout your normal day where you have no idea what's happening. You're buying that prepackaged chicken that's juiced up with whatever, the fruit at Walmart or wherever you buy your fruit, unless you're buying it organically. There's mad things in your body that you have no idea got there. You don't even know what it is. But the problem is you don't like being told what to do. And it sucks because at the end of the day, it's so hard for people to say, hey, man, like, can you be a little less selfish? Can you think of somebody else besides yourself? Get the vaccination. The Brooklyn Nets, you know what you should do? You should tell Kyrie Irving, go home. We're not paying you for the home games. We'll pay you for the away games. Mm-hmm. Because those are the only games you can play in anyway, but we don't want you here. We'll pay you for those. We're not paying you for the home games. Go away. That's what they should do. All players. this is not some mighty stand that you're taking. Your employer says, hey, you have to take vaccinations. I know you said you don't agree with mandates, job mandates, and not that I agree with them, but at the end of the day, you don't have to have that job. You don't like your job, quit.
Yeah,
basically.
go do something else.
I'm not for or against job mandates. If that's what they require, that's what they require. Mm-hmm. And you can't stand on a pedestal talking about freedom and rights when you sign a contract, sir. You know what I mean? Yeah. Or ma'am, if this applies to the WNBA, but WNBA don't have this problem. They say, hey, you got to get vaccinated. Everybody went and got vaccinated. Great. Mm-hmm. Now, 90% of the NBA is vaccinated. We are only talking about a small portion. However, it's a loud minority when guys like Kyrie Irving and guys like Cole Beasley on the NFL side are sitting there. Draymond Green did bring up an excellent point. Now, I do agree with him on this. The NBA is pushing it mad hard. Yeah. Like, it's over, and it is, but I think I think he's smart enough to understand the NBA has sponsors, and there's money involved here. They're pushing it because the NBA has government contracts. The NBA has big billion-dollar sponsors who are tied to politics. Politics are everything, man. I know people don't want us to touch our precious sports, our sweet release, but guess what? That's not the way it works. We just witnessed that with Dan Snyder and the Washington racial slurs. Politics are involved in everything. They just stay in the shadows until it's necessary. So people just need to get over that.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. And is the NBA pushing it hard? Yes. Because should they just come out and say, hey, listen, if you don't want to get it, don't get it. But guess what? If you get sick, we're not paying you. And also, if you get your teammates sick, you automatically have to forfeit. Plain and simple. Like similar to what the NFL did. But they are pushing it hard because they want a successful season, because they know that there's a lot of money on the line, and it is what it is. Like I get it. It sucks. No one wants to be told what to do. But if you want to continue with that job, you're going to have to do it. There are other private employers out there that are doing the same with their workforce. They're saying, hey, here are your options. You can either continue normally if you go get a vaccine. If you don't, guess what? There's going to be some sort of alternative here that's going to be less appealing to you, because they're looking out for their best interest. Because for private employers, it's like, well, how much am I paying into from a healthcare and coverage standpoint for employers or for employees if they're not going to take appropriate steps to stay healthy, similar to like someone making a decision between smoking and non-smoking would do, and so on. Mm-hmm. So look, just get it. I mean, honestly, and the bullshit of like, oh, well, if I'm vaccinated, I can still get it, and then I can still pass it. So why even bother getting it? That's a dumb argument, because Germ just told you why. You want to know it? Because you're less likely to get it. And then once you do get it, it's quicker recovery. You show less symptoms, so you're not knocked out completely, which means you're not, going to be rushing to the hospital, taking up a hospital bed and a ventilator or anything like that. And then also the argument of just like, well, I don't really know what's in it. Yes, you do. Everybody knows what's in it. Mm-hmm. It's public information at this point. You can go to any medical journal website and they'll list it. And by the way, it's the same technology that's being rolled out throughout the entire fucking world for everybody to get this vaccine. It's just different makers of it all around. The entire world stopped to work on a vaccine, and this is what we got. So,
but Bert, you don't understand. These people sit on their toilets and their couches and look up Google.
I know.
So they know. Yeah. They have the answers. It's fake. I mean, they saw it right there on Ask Jeeves.
They did. I know. It's amazing what you can find in a quick Google, but somebody with 12 years of schooling and 20 years of research in infectious diseases must have missed
and their $1 million labs, and you found it on Ask Jeeves.
Exactly. You
didn't fucking Reddit, you idiots. You guys are fucking idiots out there. I swear. Every time I turn on the internet, there's like these conspiracy theory tinfoil hats. Mm-hmm. They're putting nanites and da 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 da. Like, shut up. Just shut up. Like, shout out to my military guys who understand, like, hey, when you go through basic training, they shoot you up with 12 different shots or whatever, and they don't explain a goddamn thing to you. I don't know Bert, I don't know what's swimming in my body, man, but I'm immune to everything, so it doesn't matter to me. I'm pretty sure that's why, because you guys get over it, man. Like I said, it's a stupid argument, and honestly, again, if you don't want to get vaccinated, don't get vaccinated.
Yeah.
Shut up about it. If you want to get vaccinated, go get vaccinated and shut up about it.
Yeah.
And that's my argument. My body, my choice applies to all of us, not in the sports world where these players sign contracts and it's their job. You can't use that argument then. Me and you can use that argument, and that's fine. Just shut up about it. I wish everybody would go get vaccinated. Like I said, I don't think it's hard to ask people to be a little selfish and think about other people, especially if you want the world to open up. But if you don't want to get vaccinated, that's cool. But don't get mad when you can't fly on an airplane, or you can't go to a concert, or you can't go to a sporting event. These are the stipulations now. You have freedom. It is freedom. Mm-hmm. You don't have to go to games. You don't have to go to concerts. You don't have to fly on planes.
Oh, those are privileges, by all means.
Those are privileges, 100%. Mm-hmm. Listen, you have freedom. You absolutely. They're not taking your freedom away. They're putting something out there to protect everybody else. This is the same guy who takes games off, is working the regular 9 to 5. Yeah, Kyrie Irving. And okay. So I'm glad you said that. Brandon. Welcome back to the show, buddy. Listen, Kyrie Irving has taken, like, we've seen Kyrie Irving take stands for women's equality in sports, which is great.
Yeah.
And Kevin Durant's got to be hot as hell, because what Kyrie's doing is extremely selfish, right? Yeah. But Kyrie's a rich basketball player with huge influence all around the world, and he's taken a stand for welfare, inequality, global warming, all types of things.
Mental health.
And this is what he's choosing to ruin his career over. Where was all of this energy for Black Lives Matter, buddy? Where was this energy for your flat earth conspiracy and your Native American reservations that you were desperately fighting over for about 3 days? I mean, but this is the one you're going to just sit out games for, and you're going to have the strongest stand in. What about some things that are actually really important that you can actually help people? Because what you're doing is hurting people. Mm-hmm. I know you think you're helping people, but what you're actually doing is hurting people. It's selfish, and knock it off, Kyrie. There's talks that the Sixers are going to trade Ben Simmons for Kyrie Irving straight up. That's one headache for another, but this is nuts. I should take off this damn. Sick of the Sixers, man. Give Allen Iverson a job. Luckily, I have this hat sitting right here next to me. I'm gonna put on a winner's hat. Put on a winner's hat today. All right, Bert, it's time. Listen,
let's go.
The Shop Boys had a better week in the Bucket of Doom this week. Mm-hmm. You had the racial slurs. Taylor Heineke came through for you, right?
He did. I got to be honest with you. Towards the end of that game, I was like, here we go, Bucket of Doom. I'm going to lose. And then it pulled it out. I was like, all right, let's go.
Magic. Taylor Heineke, magic. Hey, shout out to Bud Light swooping in on Taylor Heineke, because Heineken wanted to get one more week just to make sure it was real. Uh-huh. How Heineken beer, you are a multi-billion-dollar global company.
Yeah.
If you don't just sponsor Taylor Heineke, who cares if he's Old Spice sponsored Montez Sweat his rookie year. They had no idea if he was good, but his name is Montez Sweat. Like, that's what you do, baby. His name is Taylor Heineke, and you had sat there and waited, and Bud Light said, no, we're going to swoop in and give him the bag because his name is Taylor Heineke, and we'll make it work somehow. Shame on you, Heineken. This is what you get. This is why you'll always be third place. You blew it. So Bert, he's 2-2 on the season. He had the Washington racial slurs. Taylor Heineke came through. Corey pulled the Cowboys at 2-2. I'm at now 1-3. I had the Dolphins. Fucking Jacoby Brissett. Mike had the Vikings. Brutal game. He's 0-4, man.
Yeah.
Mike needs a win real bad. Ty with the putback of the century. He pulled the Detroit Lions. And he said no. He believed in Justin Fields. And shout out to Justin Fields. Yes, sir. It's coming right up. Shout out to Frank. Ty said no. I believe in Justin Fields. And now Justin Fields, Matt Nagy's feeling Matt Nagy said, I'm about to lose my job here. Might as well start Justin Fields now. Mm-hmm. And so Justin Fields will be starting the rest of the season, announced today. But Ty said, no, I believe in Justin Fields. It can't get worse. Putting it back, and he somehow pulled the Bears, who were playing the team that he pulled previously. So that was a great draw for Ty. So Ty is now 2-2 on the season. All right, Bert, here it is. Bucket of Doom picks right now. Bert, you are first.
Good.
Give my guy a nice little rummage. You have the schedule up so we know what's going on. Okay, cool. Nice little rummage for Bert, and Bert pulls the Denver Broncos.
Ooh, the Broncos. They got the Steelers. I'm keeping them.
You're gonna keep them. Okay,
I'm gonna keep them.
Wow, nice. Well, does that have the point spread on there? Or no, just a schedule. Okay. I'd be curious to see what the spread is on that. But all right, let's see. That is a good pick. I'd keep it. the Steelers. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
All right, who we pulling next?
Let's see. Yeah, I'm looking at it. Who's in alphabetical order? Corey's next. I'm going in alphabetical order. Corey's next. All right. Corey has the Las Vegas Raiders.
Ooh, the Raiders have the Bears.
Oh, nice. That's a dub. That's a dub. Raiders are really good. All right. I am picking now. Ooh, the Tampa Bay Bucks. Who do we got?
The Bucks are taking. Oh man, the Dolphins.
Oh, hey. All right.
Should be a fucking lock.
Yeah. This is nice. Picking for Mike now.
Yep.
Mike has. Oh, the Atlanta Falcons. Should we do it right for him?
They're playing the Jets.
Oh no. Oh my God.
Is he listening?
Man, I don't know. He has his meeting. Let's see. You know what? Let's call him. Let's do a first time.
Let's do it. Yeah.
Over the air call. Let's just call Mike. I know he said he had the Board of Education meeting that he's in. Let's see if he answers. Can you hear that?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Oh no, Mike.
This is way more important than his daughter's education.
Yeah. I know, seriously. Frank says to put it back. I don't know, man.
It's so tough. It's
tough. Oh, Mike. Sorry, buddy. That's rough, man. Oh my God. Hey, listen.
We called,
buddy. Sorry, man. I want to tell you. Oh, Mike with the Falcons.
I mean, the Falcons, they did beat the Giants. Not that I'm proud of it, but like.
All right. I'm going to keep my phone like near me. If he calls back by the time we end the show, then we'll try. He said Mike wants the Giants. Yeah, he's been pining to get the Giants. Forever. All right, we're picking for Ty now. Ty has the Washington racial slurs.
Ooh, they have the Saints.
That's a good game. I'll take the Ty. That's a good.
That's not. Giants just beat the Saints, so we'll see.
Yeah. The Saints. They got everybody got hype off that first. That first magical week where somehow magically Jameis Winston threw for 5 touchdowns, but only had like 148 yards. I mean, that'll never happen again.
It's like his trainer always says. You see that clip?
No.
It's like it's like a post game or something. He's like, it's like my trainer always says, some real motivational. And he's like, I really can't remember what he says right now off the top of my head, but he's always trying to give me inspiration. I was dying, bro.
Oh no.
Classic Jameis.
Mike said he's still on the call. I said, hey, you pulled the Falcons. They play the Jets. You want it or throw it back? Let's see. So Mike is in a Board of Education meeting call, so he can't call back in, but I'll text him. In the meantime, got my buddy Steve Zuccari, betting extraordinaire. He makes a lot of money on the sports bets. He tries to give me tips all the time, but he keeps forgetting that I live in North Carolina and I can't sports gamble yet. But we are going to start a segment called Steve's Trifecta, where he's going to give me 3 locks for all you sports bettors out there that want to put a little money down or need a little bit of help. He's going to give you 3 locks every week. His first lock is the Las Vegas Raiders. They are giving 5.5 to the Chicago Bears. I mean, I guess I don't know. The Bears, they do a good job of stopping the run. Too bad for them that the Raiders are a passing team and the Bears can't stop the pass at all. So Mike says, yeah, throw it back.
Ooh.
Holy shit. I told him they play the Jets. I said, hey, you pulled the Falcons. They play the Jets. Do you want her to throw it back? He said, yeah, throw it back.
That is a tough one, though. Watch him pull the Jets now, though.
Oh, my God. The Browns.
All right. Well, he's going to have a tough one against the Chargers.
Oh, my God, Mike. Oh, Mike. From the Divide account, let's go. It's the Chargers, man. Justin Herbert, the one who was promised. That's who you pulled, man.
The one who predicted his own future.
Yep. Oh, my God. That's legendary stuff right there. We're going to be talking about that in 10 years when he wins his first Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah.
Josh Allen's going to win all the Super Bowls from now until then. So, I don't know. It's the Bears. That's 5.5. The Raiders have looked so impressive. I feel like that's a lock. I feel like I see the Raiders beating the Bears by more than that. I don't know if the Bears are good or not. I know that the Raiders are really good, and it seems to me that the Bears somehow only and Raiders are at home.
Yeah,
that the Bears are going to cover within a touchdown doesn't sound.
No. I think that's a lock.
So that's a lock. So he gives us the Raiders. The next one is actually he has a lock at the Chargers, giving up 1 point to the Cleveland Browns at home. That line is ridiculous because I think the Chargers are going to destroy the Browns.
I don't know about destroy, Mike. But I mean, they're at least going to win by 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, that's a 1 point. That shows a lot of respect for the Cleveland Browns. The fact that they think they're going to go into like that to them is a toss up. Like I know they say 3 points is a push. Yeah. I mean, what is one? What does one mean? Like well,
why bother?
Yeah, but he has them as a lock. He believes in the Chargers. Yeah, Mike. Yeah, that's brutal, bro. That's brutal. That's I don't know.
I heard that's Buffalo zip code, isn't it? 0 for 4.
Thanks. Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah. His last lock is the Green Bay Packers that are traveling to Cincinnati, giving up 3.5 to the Cincinnati Bengals. It's interesting. To me, that shows respect for the Bengals too. I know that they're at home getting 3 points, but the Packers do look nice, and the Bengals look okay. I don't know. The Bengals.
It's one of those where the Bengals are playing good football, but you're going up against the Packers. So it's like, is 3 points enough? I don't think so. Not to say that it's not going to be a close game. It could be a touchdown between them, but for all intent and purpose of what Steve's doing right now, he's giving you a lock, and obviously Green Bay giving 3. Having faith in the Packers are going to win by more.
Yeah. I shouldn't say that because I do like the Bengals. I think they have some, they did just barely beat the Jags, and the Packers have just been like destroying teams lately. So that's a tough spot for my Bengals. But that seems like a lock to me. The Packers are probably going to win huge. Like this could be one of those really ugly, like 40 to like 17 games. I really do see it. Which would suck because I think the Bengals are starting to figure it out. Just their offensive line isn't good, and they can't stop the run. So I don't know. So that's it. That's it for Steve's locks. He, again, just to recap that, he has the Raiders, the Chargers, and the Packers. So if you are on one of those fancy sports betting sites that I am not allowed to, thanks to state restrictions, screw you, and hopefully you win some money. And that's it. So, Bert, do you have a game ball to give up?
I do. I have 2. I have to give one to Tom Brady just for taking over the all-time passing record. Obviously, we already knew he was great with, what is it now, 7 Super Bowl victories, or is it 6?
7. 6 with the Pats, 1 with the Bucs.
Pats, 1 with, but obviously climbing up that ladder and doing it at 42 years old is he's just absolutely amazing. So 1 game ball to him, and then the NBA had a legend retire. Pau Gasol, got to give a game ball to him. Officially retiring from the game overall. Impressive career in itself, and having to play with the likes of Kobe Bryant, and have him hear about the influence and mentoring that Kobe did for him throughout his career too is just really nice to hear overall. So game ball to Tom Brady and Pau.
Yeah, I'm going to give my game ball to Allen Iverson. The Sixers are, for some reason, not giving him a job with the organization as something. And he's done a lot of good for the city of Philadelphia. He continues to do it. And so on our small little platform out in the middle of nowhere, I would like to give him some recognition. He has funded money to the schools of Philadelphia. Yet again, he's putting on basketball camps in the city of Philadelphia right now that things are starting to open up because of COVID. He does a lot for the Georgetown market out there in the college he went to, and he's from Virginia, so he does a lot in Virginia. So shout out to Allen Iverson. He gets my game ball because the Sixers won't recognize his greatness, but we here at Stuff About Sports will. So, all right, Bert, that's it, man. This Thursday, we got our first London game on Saturday, I believe.
Yep.
I
think that's the Jets Atlanta game too.
It's the Jets Atlanta game, so we're gonna find out early. That's a good old 9. There's nothing like a good 9:30 a.m. game. You wake up.
Exactly.
It's great.
If I'm watching football from the moment I wake up to the moment I go to bed, it's a good day.
Oh my God, yeah. And I'm not even a big London fan. Now that I got London, I don't have my soundboard up, but London overrated. Tell you that right now. The UK 4 p.m. tea and crumpets.
Put
overrated.
It in the books. Germ hates London.
Game ball for Karl Malone. Hell no game ball for Karl Malone. I don't know what he would get a game ball for. That guy's a creep. This guy's like go look up what Karl Malone's done. Hey, game ball to the cold case first. Oh, he opened up the first school of basketball. Oh, that's pretty cool. That's cool. He's a pedophile though, so I don't care.
Oh no.
Shout out to the cold case investigators, finally solving the Zodiac Killer crime, identifying the Zodiac Killer as Gary Post. So shout out to whoever was in charge of doing that. Too bad Gary Post died like 3 years ago. You're a little late, guys. Do your job better, faster, so we can get some justice for the 5 victims of the Zodiac Killer. This Thursday night game, tomorrow's game, Rams and Seahawks. That's going to be a good one. So we got a good weekend of football coming up. Steve says California gets to watch that London game at 6:30 in the morning. Yeah, I wish. And Frank says that's
I don't know if I would wake up at 6:30 to watch the Jets Atlanta game.
I'm up between 5:30 and 6 every day, no matter what. So yeah, I'd be up. And if it's a good game, like I would do it if you would do it if it was the Giants. If the Giants were playing,
the Giants, yeah.
And they suck right now, so and you would still
terrible.
do it.
So they're so bad.
So bad. That's funny. But yeah. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Please check out Give Us a Shot.network. Fast Break Coffee just launched. www.fastbreakcoffee.com. Go get yourself a bag of that stuff. And please, we've actually had a really good couple days of launch. So thank you to everybody who's purchased a bag of coffee from us. We got some more things coming down the pipe. And until then, we will talk to you next week.